Hi, I'm Scott. Welcome to Synth Stuff. Today I'm going to steal an idea directly from Claudio over at Dr. Mix, and we're going to create some Kraftwerk sounds on the ANX engine and the Montage M. Coming up. About a week ago, Claudio over on the Dr. Mix channel, which you really need to subscribe to if you haven't, obviously. If you don't know who Dr. Mix is, you should stop watching this immediately and go subscribe to his channel. He created the robots sounds from Kraftwerk on the PWM Mantis, which is an analog synthesizer. I thought, well, if he can do that on an analog synthesizer, I can do it in the ANX engine on the Montage M. So I did a couple of the sounds that he did. There's the first one. And then the second one. I can't play it as fast as a sequencer would, but you get the idea. So let's see how we go about actually making these sounds. Okay, let's start with an init. So we will go to our init, and it's going to be an ANX init. And there's our first sound. And if we look over on the ANX panel, we can see we have a single oscillator. Let's make that whoop whoop sound first. So we're going to change this to a sine wave. So you can hear the different waves. The sine wave. And we want that to pitch up when we play it. So we're going to pitch envelope. And let's see, let's bring sustain down, release down, decay, and attack down. Let's see what we get. Start bringing in other way. Maybe we need no decay. Let's do it on the attack. Yeah, that's better. Let's bring the sustain up so it stays at the high note. That sounds good. Now let's, on the envelope, we're just going to put a tiny bit of attack in there and no decay, and then just a tiny bit of release. There's our first sound, but we do want a little bit of echo on that. So let's bring in that sound, and we're going to put an effect, and we'll put insert A, and it's going to be a delay, and cross delay is fine. That's probably too much. Let's try about 250. We'll do that the same one over here. Let's see what that sounds like. All right, that's it. That's the first sound. That's pretty simple. That's easy enough to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add a couple more ANX init parts, because we're going to need that for the second part. And now we're going to mute those two, and we'll have just the first one on, and we'll store that as scene 1. And then for the second part, we're going to just have scene 2s and 3. So now, as you can see, if we hit scene 1 and scene 2, it's muting the different parts. So scene 1 will be this sound. You know what? I think the pitch needs to be a little bit faster on that, on the envelope. Pitch envelope. Maybe a little less high as well. That sounds good. Okay. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save this, because the last time I did this, I didn't save it and I lost. So let's say Kraftwerk. Okay. Now, for our second and third parts, let's just work on the second part. And we're going to have 2 sawtooth waves. Oscillators 1 and 2. Oscillator 2, let's drop it down an octave. We need to have its out as well. So now we have 2 octaves playing, 2 oscillators playing 1 and 2, 1 octave higher and 1 octave lower. Sounds good. It's for a start. I think we need a little bit of a filter envelope on that. So if we bring in a little bit of cutoff. And now get a little bit more snap. How's that sound? I think the filter envelope needs to be a little more snappier. All right, so that's a nice approximation of the sound. But there's something missing, and that missing is what is the other little snap. So let's edit the snap sound that we're going to be using here. And that, again, is just going to start off with a wave or a sawtooth. And let's put that way up high. And then we are going to pitch that down. And let's snap down the amplitude as well. And it might be a little too high. Let's bring it down. I don't think it needs a filter, it just needs that the amplitude. Now let's hear those together. All right, so that sounds pretty decent, but there is still something missing. And that is a filter with resonance that's moving over top of it. So let's go into the first oscillator sound, and we're going to put an insert effect in here, and the category is going to be tech, and we want a control filter. How about that? And then we can start playing with the sound of this. I'm going to leave it as a 12 decibel filter. But we need something to actually change while we're playing that. Let's go into mod control, and we are going to auto select. I will move the mod wheel, it'll select mod wheel. We'll then go into destination one, not the filter type, we want insert a cutoff. So now we can change the filter opening frequency by moving the mod wheel. We just need to adjust the ratio. Maybe a little bit higher. And now if we go back to our effects, and we can start changing these. So what I'm doing here is just moving the mod. And that's changing the cutoff frequency of that filter. Before we do anything else, I'm going to store that, overwrite our performance, yes. So now we have scene one. Yeah, I don't think the pitch envelope is big enough. maybe it is. Maybe that's good. All right, so let's give that a try. Scene 1. No, it definitely needs to be higher. All right, ready? So now we have our first sound. And we switch to the second sound. And obviously that needs to be sequenced. I can't play it fast enough. And you can adjust any of this, but it gives you an idea of just how you can go about creating this kind of sound on the ANX engine on the Montage M. And by the way, I will upload this sound to my SoundMondo account, and I will put a link to that in the description below. That's it. That's my Kraftwerk video on the ANX engine, the Montage M. It's really a very flexible engine. I really am impressed with the number of parameters and the things that you can do, and how easy Yamaha has made all the different parameters that you can access to do different things in the ANX engine. I've heard a lot of criticism about the ANX engine, saying it sounds sterile, it doesn't sound real, but really, when you start getting into the weeds in all the different parameters in there, you can make this thing sound fat and juicy as any analog synthesizer. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please leave them in the comments section below. And of course, click like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out when you do that. Thanks for watching.